Good to see everyone again. Thanks for coming. My name is Luke. I'm really excited to talk today about Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. We're here today with our friends from Fetch, who'll be doing a presentation shortly after me. I'm here with Rebecca, our head of marketing at Kudos, and really welcome you to this presentation. I'll start by saying that we have this unprecedented time where the demand for AI is increasing every week, every day, every hour. Generative AI is expected to produce over $1.3 trillion in spend by 2032. Everything we do today is shifting towards from consuming content on the internet to using agents, chatbots, and interfacing with AI to get our jobs done, to communicate socially, to create content, review content, or even self-development. There's a massive push for AI compute, and in this presentation, we're going to talk about a layer below the application side. You're here to build your own apps, tools, services, whatever you come up with during the hackathon. And I would like to leave you after this presentation to think about what is AI infrastructure, what are the different tools you can use to build your own products. And some of them are not probably the most common that you would probably go for, and I'm going to explain in detail. My name is Luke. I've been building products for about 15 plus years. I have been working with Kudos and Kudo for quite a while. Previously worked at a number of Web3 startups, blockchain startups, and AI startups. And I'm now working with the Kudos team to build ASI Cloud, which is a compute layer for the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, ASI. It's an association of three companies, SingularityNet, Fetch, and Kudos, where we all jointly join our forces together to build open and decentralized AI system. So our vision is really to create this full stack technology for operating decentralized AIs using open distributed systems and technology. Well, why is it important, you may ask? We have this shift from web to AI, where people start using more of chatbot applications than just surfing the web. We now have ChatGPT or OpenAI releasing their own browser. So a lot of the interactions on the internet are moving towards chatbots, AI native applications. And every single business, and we see that on the infrastructure level, is shifting to AI. Everyone needs GPUs, compute, AI infrastructure, hardware to run their own applications on top of it. And the demand for the AI compute is accelerating even faster. Just last week, NVIDIA have released their quarterly earnings, which are one of the highest ever. And the speed with which this industry is accelerating is getting bigger and bigger every week. And you can see around yourself, like everyone you know probably uses chatbots, chatbot applications. AI is such a big buzzword right now. I don't think it's a bubble per se. Of course, there's so many different things that are happening, but we can see how omnipresent is AI technology in our daily lives and of our family, friends, and other significant others. What we're building at ASI specifically, and this is just a snapshot of the top products and technologies. So we've got a ASI chain, which has just been launched on DevNet. We're going to be announcing more about that. We've got ASI One, which is our friends from Fetch. We'll talk more in a minute, which is a personal AI platform, agentic AI for agentic workflows. We've got ASI Cloud, which I'm going to talk about today, which is a AI cloud and compute platform for LLM inference, model inference, and renting out GPUs. And we also have ASI Create, which is a way to deploy agents on chain. We've got our own language models, which we highly encourage you to use during this hackathon. And also we've got AGI framework for the future of AGI. One of the big goals of ASI is to build technology and tools for the AGI era, which is the artificial general intelligence. This is a quick slide about ASI chain. We're not diving deep today into ASI chain, but I'm excited to announce that in the last few weeks, we launched a DevNet, so you can participate in DevNet, test the tools, open access documentation, and really start building your first applications on DevNet on ASI chain. A little bit about Kudo. So how many of you are into crypto, or how many of you have a Web3 wallet? Okay. How many of you have made a Web3 or crypto payment in the last week or 2 weeks? Okay, some hands there. How many of you are using DeFi? Okay, still a few people. Great. And final question, how many of you have mined cryptocurrency, crypto mining? Oh yeah, we've got one person, great. So when we started Kudo a few years ago, we had this vision, our CEO had this vision of monetizing unutilized computing power. So we started with bringing crypto mining to gaming machines, laptops and PCs back in 2017, 2018. Back then, mining crypto was still affordable. And of course, now it's not as easy to mine crypto. We then launched a suite of mining products for mining farms, big enterprises, and GPU miners, gamers. And now fully have moved to a CUDO Compute, which is an AI workload-specific platform. So we rent out GPUs to enterprises, create big GPU clusters where you can put your models on, deploy your tools and technology for AI to build on top of AI. And at the moment, we've got two products. One is a CUDO Compute platform, which specializes in very much enterprise AI. So working with bigger companies to deploy GPU infrastructure or rent GPUs on demand. And we've got our Web3 enabled platform, ASI Cloud, which is part of the ASI Alliance, that has been jointly developed with SingularityNet, our partners at the ASI Alliance. And the CUDO's ASI Cloud has AI services, so LLM inferencing. You can easily access to top large language models, and we're giving away some free credits for you to use during this hackathon. At the same time, we are an NVIDIA preferred partner, working with NVIDIA, going to their offices, understanding what's happening in the space and how can we help build this GPU infrastructure moving forward. Speaking of NVIDIA and AI compute stack, I think it's worth mentioning the different layers of a compute stack for AI. Some people call it the next industrial revolution, the next evolution of AI in terms of technological progress. We've got energy, infrastructure, and GPUs on the bottom, which are the foundational layers. So infrastructure are the data centers that host those GPUs, and GPUs are those NVIDIA-specific servers, parallel processing units to enable AI. We've got a model layer, that's the language model. You'll be interfacing with that as well. And I think there's also with some GPU layer too during this week. And we've got the application layer, which is everything you build on top of that infrastructure. And that is chatbots, robotaxi apps, different coding tools, agents, agentic tooling and services. So everything you need all of the below to be able to build all the application suites. And one interesting notion that we see happening is that with AI, we have the concept of tokens as units of intelligence. These are not crypto tokens, by the way. These are AI tokens, which are, you can call them inference tokens, AI tokens, that are used to process data and make some meaningful meaning about that data, and you can interact with that data using language models. How many of you recognize this game? Oh, what is it? Yeah, Quake. You're right, great. So, funny enough, all of this wouldn't be possible without NVIDIA's work and some other, obviously, companies that were doing hardware acceleration in the 90s. First graphics cards that introduced parallel processing. So on the left, you've got this traditional software-based processing, which is a sequential type of processing graphics and games in general. Then obviously we had hardware acceleration, that's parallel processing that introduced better graphics, smoother textures, filtering, better lighting, and everything else. So that shift from sequential CPU-based processing to parallel processing is what really enabled AI today. Tokens as units of intelligence. You can tokenize pretty much anything that contains data. That could be music, images, video, proteins, atoms, anything that has some data content. And in the process of tokenization, it makes it understandable by the AI. So you can tokenize anything pretty much that contains data and make it meaningful to the AI model. And therefore the model can respond to you. You can interact with the model, create new type of data, and really expand your knowledge and use AI to your advantage. And that's all possible with the invention of large language models. And LLMs are specifically about text, but what we have now is that multimodals are very popular. Multimodals are those models that use text, image generation, video generation at the same time. Those are the specific models, like AI models trained on huge amount of data set. In terms of LLMs, it's text, so all the content from the internet is tokenized. And each of the tokens are then attributed with specific IDs. And then therefore there's some additional technology to put them on like a big vector. So you can really interact with that data when you want to query it. So in this example, we've got a simple sentence that's tokenized into 10 different tokens. And the AI has been sort of trained to understand the close relationships between the different words of that sentence. So that's why you need a lot of computing power to train those models on the data from the internet, and that's anything text, books, PDFs, everything around that. Which is why you probably hear that it's very expensive to train those models, and you need thousands and thousands of GPUs to train them, which is exactly what ASI Alliance is doing and what we're doing at Kudo for infrastructure and enterprise deployment. A couple of interesting things that you may find interesting because you're going to be using some inference for your products and services working on this. We have two important phases of model inference. So when I say model inference, is the process of the language model thinking. So thinking mode, so using LLMs in inference mode. And that's the pre-fill phase where you process the entire prompt. So you send some text to the model. That prompt is processed. It's actually done in parallel. So use a lot of GPU compute for that. And that's where you can send a big paragraph of data into a chatbot, and in an instant, you can have a response. It doesn't have to even think too much because it all happens in parallel using the GPUs on which the inference is happening. The key metric here is obviously time to first token, which is how quickly does it take from my prompt to tokenize it into the different tokens, find the ID for those different tokens, and decode that into and produce an output token. So the latency is a very important metric for measuring inference performance. Another part is the decode process, which is when you actually start generating tokens sequentially. The main difference between that is it's actually a sequential process, so it uses a lot of memory rather than just parallel processing. So you really have to set up your infrastructure needs to be set up in the right way to quickly process the tokens that are sent to the model and quickly spit them out of the model to you. And we call this a decode phase where tokens are generated sequentially, and you've got something called KV cache, which is used during the pre-fill stage to find an output quickly. And again, there's some latency between those decode steps, and every single word that's generated goes through this whole loop, which is one word, tokenize, decode, come back to the cycle and process the whole output again. Quickly about ASI Cloud. So just to create an intuition of what we've been building and what you can use from today. We've got the GPU, AI, and cloud platform. We offer different types of GPUs. You can rent an entire machine. You can put your own language model on top of it. You could also use a ready-to-go APIs, and we're giving away some inference credit for everyone to use for your projects. Getting GPUs could be complex to set up, so if you don't have dedicated skills, you can refer to our documentation or ask us questions. Or if you just need inference, you can just use our APIs, generate an API key, and off you go. And we also have our own flagship ASI1 mini model developed by our friends at Fetch that we offer for free. And so you can just generate an API key and use it for your own projects or personal use as well. These are the examples of GPUs we support. These are enterprise-grade GPUs that are usually paid per hour if you wanted to rent them individually. A screenshot of our platform, which is ASI Cloud, and you've got different models available. We are constantly adding more models. So as of next week, we're going to add way more models to the system. We are actually upgrading our cluster, adding more GPUs, making it more performant. Now you've got about 6-7 models at the moment, and there'll be way more over the coming weeks. Documentation, yeah, you can also refer to our documentation, which explains how to use the inference endpoint, how you can connect to our system, how can you use the API, and also how to use the GPU cloud, which is renting machines and getting access to them easily. I wanted to end with a couple of important aspects, especially when you're building with AI, which is observability and ability to see how your system and product performs in real time. It's very important to really monitor what happens because you can easily spend way too much money on your AI or your infrastructure, and using dashboards and being able to track every single token that gets processed, seeing how your models that you use perform, how much money you pay, it's really important. And I'm saying this because we had a few customers in the past who just wanted to do some work and they had a budget of, let's say, $20,000 a month. And it was fine for maybe the small use case and user base they had. Once their application started to scale, all of a sudden they moved from 20K to 100K, and they were not ready for that. And that's why observability, ability to check your stats in real time and really monitor the situation is key when you build your own product, service, if you want to scale up. It's also a good problem to have if you've got a startup that is scaling so fast that you have to get more money to pay towards the infrastructure. And this is another example of our dashboard. For example, when we measure intra-token latency there, the request, the prompt length, time to first token, as I mentioned, which is one of the key metrics we look at. Decode token throughput, so how quickly we're decoding those tokens. End-to-end request latency. Generic DevOps, MLOps stats that we monitor every day. We've got a dedicated person doing that. If you're starting out, you can do it yourself. It's very easy, actually. You just have to keep the finger on the pulse. And you will learn a lot by doing this, how the system works, so you can be better equipped when building your products. Some of our customers include AI research labs, startups, developers. We have a bunch of Web3 builders as well launching with us. We're going to be talking in a minute about the accelerator program. Our friend Rebecca will be sharing more how you can get involved with this. Generally, ASI Cloud is just the beginning of our ASI suite of products towards building open, distributed, and permissionless AI that is Web3 enabled. You can use your wallet to log in. You can pay with fiat. You can pay with crypto. It's entirely up to you how you want to use the platform. But what we care about is for you to have access to an open and distributed compute infrastructure, as opposed to using closed source models from the major companies. If you want to get your free credits, this will be shared in Discord as well, and I think Shafi will share that too in your channels. Or you can just take a photo of this, the QR code. There's a form to fill out to get access to free inference credits by joining our community and leaving your details. And please do join our Discord, which is our own ASI Cloud Discord, separate to the Hackathon Discord as well, and help us build an open and distributed AI with the ASI Alliance and our partners. Thank you for your time.